Hi, my name is Melanie and I am from Texas, and I suffered my first concussion 29 years ago. So before my concussion, my nickname was Energizer Bunny. So I had a full-time job and I was a single mom raising 2 kids and going to college and playing in a softball team and doing things at church, and it just all seemed to, I could manage it all, I could do it all. So that was our life before my concussion. We've figured out that I had a concussion in 2010. I had fallen down a flight of stairs in a brand new home. At about 9 months after I had fallen, I had my first grand mal seizure. And as much as I told doctors that I had multiple concussions, more than 8 concussions in my lifetime, nobody ever really gave it any thought or any consideration to why I was the way I was. My first really bad one was at 19, and I was diagnosed with PTSD about 18 months after that concussion. So I really think my struggles with anxiety and depression and just my emotional well-being actually started right after my concussion at 19. After that, the seizures started. I was attacked in a domestic violence attack in 2017, and my seizures got a little bit worse. Everybody wanted to assign it to my PTSD diagnosis. They didn't want to assign anything under the a brain injury or a concussion. In 2019, I went to Disney World with my family and rode rides all day, and I blacked out for a day and a half. And my seizures were so bad at the airport, I was having a hard time walking. We weren't sure I was going to be able to get on a plane and come home. Everything at that point declined very, very rapidly until I met Dr. Fong this past December at Universal Studios, waiting in line to go back to our hotels. And she asked me about a ride, and I said I didn't ride rides anymore. And she kind of cocked her head sideways and said, well, why don't you ride rides anymore? And that proceeded into a 20-minute conversation where she told me that she felt that she could help me. When I met Dr. Fong, it was just the 2 families talking. We weren't really, it wasn't a, so what do you do? Nobody ever asked anybody, what do you do? She just happened to ask me the right question and cared enough to ask the next question, well, why don't you ride rides? And that question changed my life. She's amazing. This clinic's amazing. Everyone here is amazing. To know that you're not crazy, and that it's fixable, that your symptoms are not made up, they're not in your head, you're not a drama queen, that they're real, is just a miracle in itself. In my world, we had given up to some level. We didn't know that there was anything available to help me. Day 1, when I came for my scans, the first scan that they did, the first MRI, by the time they were done, I couldn't sit up on my own. My symptoms were so bad, they had to physically sit me up. And then I came out of here throwing up and not able to sit in a room with any lights on, and those symptoms lasted for 2 days. And that's kind of what my life has been like. So my first day here, I was still feeling pretty crappy, to be quite honest. The picture they took of me, my eyes, you could just tell I was in pain. And I didn't even realize, I tried to smile for the camera, but that picture of that person 2 weeks ago versus how I feel right now, and I don't recognize that person. Each day for me, I woke up feeling just a little bit better than the day before as I went through the therapy, even though it was exhausting and you're challenged. For me, I could see little winning points or little glimpses. There was this one therapy, and it was just the simplest thing, and it was doing our hands like this, and then he had me do this hand, And when I did this hand was all kind of fumbly. And he had me just do this easy little exercise with my foot, and then something else, and then all of a sudden it got better. And then we did some other tiny exercise, and then it got better. And that was literally on the first day. And I was like, are you kidding me? Like, that just helped with this. And there were little moments like that every day that showed me that they knew exactly what they were doing. They knew exactly what they were seeing and getting from me. They knew how to work with it. I looked at him and I was like, how did you do that? He goes, we know how to do this. And I'm like, that's crazy, but they also know how to get your body to calm back down. Everything that happened to me, whether it was a stuttering moment or if I started to have a seizure, they'd instantly get me to a place where I could calm my body down and calm my mind down, to the point now that I don't worry about pushing myself or doing something, because now I have the tools to calm it down and kind of bring it back and get to a comfortable spot. So I know that sounds silly, but it was just the littlest thing of a hand exercise that showed me that I was going to get better, that this was going to work, because coming here I was not wanting to get my hopes up. And I've gotten more than I could have ever have hoped for. My first MRI showed that I had a lot of damage in the subcortical and the attentional, and so that was my worst score. In my first week, we cut my score for the processing piece, the subcortical, was cut in half. And my second week, we worked on the attentional piece of it. We had an increase the first week and then an additional 50% after that. So yeah, I feel a whole lot better today. I've spent the last 5 years on disability and completely disabled, and kind of had to let go of some of the dreams, just all the things that made me who I was before. So now I get back to that. We want to start a business. I'm walking out of here with a plan to go home and get back into the gym and get back into doing all the things that I love to do that I have not been able to do. My man is like, I'm getting a new woman. And I was like, yep, you're getting one you don't even know, because he's always known me with my head injury. So this is going to be a fun and exciting adjustment in our household.